Hello, I'm John McMenamin, and I'm filming for my YouTube video, or my YouTube channel, I should say, Heirloom Armory. And basically the purpose of the YouTube channel, and I'll also be putting this on Facebook and Instagram, is just to chronicle some of the work I did on my guns over the years. And I did a video on my BB gun, pellet gun, my Crossman. And this is the next video, which is my second gun I ever owned. When I was probably 12 or 13, I bought this gun at Hawks Corners Gun Shop in Hartford, New York. The owner was Charlie Fontaine, who's gone to be with the Lord. But Charlie, at one time, was the world record bench rest. He had the world record in the bench rest, shooting his .222, and now his son owns the shop, and we still go there once in a while, and it's a lot of sentimental value, just like this gun, which is empty. It's a .22, and I'll read right off of it. It's a model 581, and left-handed. It'll shoot .22 short, long, and long rifle. And it was made in Ilion, New York, USA, back probably in the late 60s. I think they started making the 581 in 67, and I don't know if they still make it today, but this was a right-hand ejection port, but left-hand bolt. And very well-made gun, less than $100 back in the day, which still was probably a lot of money back then. But I did quite a bit of work on it, and I don't even know when I started working on it, probably in my 20s or 30s. And I reshaped the stock, which is made out of mahogany. They made some stocks out of walnut, some mahogany. In later years, they made them out of beech, which my dad bought a gun just like this, but it was in beech. And I'll show that on a future video. I put a ebony 4-in tip pistol grip cap on that. And you can see where when I sanded the finish off, it's very hard to get beech back to the brown color to get the dye to go. I'm sure there's ways to do it, but it left a good contrast between the lighter colored wood and the ebony caps that I put on it. Now this one, I put rosewood 4-in tip, rosewood pistol grip cap, but I also took part of the 4-in tip and inlaid it. I did a double inlay, first the plastic, then the mahogany inlay inside the rosewood. I used plastic spacers, which give it some contrast, because if you just have a rosewood pistol grip cap or 4-in tip, it's hard to tell because there's not as much contrast. So the plastic spacers help give a little contrast. Also did a butt plate on there made out of rosewood, and reshaped the grip. Also, a little attention to detail, put spacers on the sling swivel studs. The other thing I did, I took the old plastic butt plate and I took part of it and I made a little part for the magazine release. So instead of just a piece of sheet metal, it's got that plastic on there, which my son has a 541T Target, which is an upgraded model of this, and his had a little plastic thing on there. So I think that's where I got that to make that. And this also came with, that's a 5-shot magazine. It also came with a 10-shot magazine, which is more of a banana shape to it. But that's kind of a nice little addition that they came out with. And I'm going to take this apart and show you some of the kind of custom features that I did to this to make it shoot even better, but it still shoots a 1-inch group at 50 yards. My grandson actually took a squirrel with it last hunting season, which I never shot a squirrel with it, so that was pretty cool. Shot some woodchucks with it, which is how I bonded with my dad. You know, some people bond with their dad going fishing. My dad wasn't into fishing as much as he was into shooting. So we go to the range or we go woodchuck hunting around the local farms. The farmers didn't like the woodchucks making holes in their field. So one of the teachers at the school, where my mom was the secretary to the principal, allowed us to go on his farm, Mr. Dugan, and we'd go shoot woodchucks and also other areas around Granville, New York, where I grew up. I wanted to show you, I have this guitar sitting here, and one of the reasons I like guitars and guns, because I love working with wood, or just having things that have cool wood. Guitars have lots of different kinds of wood. This has a spruce top, it's got rosewood back and sides, a mahogany neck, similar to this, and it's got some ebony fretboard, bridge. So guitars are kind of similar to guns, that they have a lot of different exotic hardwoods on them, which is another reason why I like it. This one also had a little plastic insert on the top of the barrel in front of the action where it had a rear sight. I took that off to put a scope on it. Just don't like plastic that much. I've gotten away from the plastic spacers now. I use more maple, which you'll see in future videos. And a little bit more about this gun. It's got millet rings on it. This has a Leupold Vari X2, 3 to 9 on it right now. It's had several scopes over the years. But the way they made these bolts, 6 lugs instead of 2 lugs, which is kind of customary. So it's probably a 60-degree lift instead of 90-degree, since it's got 3 sets of lugs. Kind of similar to the Weatherby. It had 6 lugs on some of their Mark V's, and then their Magnums even had 9 lugs. And I'm going to show you what I did inside. I'm going to take these action screws out. It's got a big action screw in the front. My wife is filming on my phone. My wife Brenda, thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
And I'm trying not to point the gun at her.
Oh, thank you.
But it's got a big action screw in the front, and then it just had a couple wood screws in the back. Now I ended up taking one of the wood screws out, and because it was going through a little bridge in the wood, I ended up putting a longer machine screw in there and tapping a little bit of the action, not all the way through, but just to give it another action screw. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can see this second screw went all the way through, and it goes into the action here. I tapped out the action just to give it another action screw, because, you know, just to give it a little more stability. But it doesn't even go all the way through the action, but I just drilled it and tapped it. The other thing I did, you can see it had no recoil lug of any kind. I took a file and made a little recoil lug, not very deep, and behind the regular action screw, and bedded the action. I put a aluminum pillar in there. If you can see where the reverse recoil lug was built into the action, and there's the aluminum pillar. Also, what happened on this gun, eventually the firing pin spring stretched out where it wasn't getting enough force, and I was getting misfires where it wouldn't have enough force to ignite the rim fire. So I wasn't getting, it wasn't igniting the cartridges. So I ended up sending the barreled action back to Remington. And when I did, I asked them to put the same, you know, first fix the firing pin spring, but also my son's 541T had an adjustable trigger on it, and the original 581 did not. So I asked them to put the adjustable trigger on it, and they kind of hemmed and hawed a little bit, but they ended up doing it for me at some kind of price. I don't remember what. But so this one has the adjustable trigger. It's actually a little less than 3 pounds. It's like 2 pounds, 14 ounces, which makes it more accurate also. And I can't think of what else to tell you what I've done to this, but it ended up being a very good shooter still to this day. And it's got a lot of sentimental value, and it will be passed on. That's why I call my YouTube page Heirloom Armory, because when you put so much work into your guns, you really can't sell them. You know, they become part of the family, and you end up passing them on. I've already passed on my dad's 22 to my grandson, Neil, who is left eye dominant also, so he's got a left-handed rifle. And we've got a 243. Evan's got a nice 243 that I fixed up. And so you'll be seeing in future videos more and more of my rifles. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But here's my beautiful 581 Remington. God bless.